small town of Hérouxville is basically trying to establish some sort of code of conduct for people coming into this country. What's your impression of that sort of thing? Is that something
I think municipalities must stay in their own role. And also we need to, I'm not saying that they have no role at all, but I'm not sure that it's code of conduct may be.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, okay. There are limits that a municipality may do, and also there are limits that any government may do because we need to respect the Canadian Charter of Rights. But this is a healthy debate, though. We need to engage the people in a world where multiculturalism will not be only a reality for Montreal, Vancouver, and Toronto. It will become more and more the reality of every day. In 2010, 100% of the growth of our workforce will come from immigration, and an immigration that will be coming from everywhere in the world, not so much from Europe and the United States. And so these populations are just realizing that, and we need to debate it openly in a Canadian and friendly way. How can we have reasonable accommodation? Because the two words are important. Mm-hmm. It must be reasonable and it must be accommodation.
Well, for example, in Holland, the government is actually advertising to people exactly what it means to be Dutch, or what you would see in Holland. It shows videos of gay couples, nude sunbathing, those sorts of things. In Britain, the Prime Minister is talking about the importance of ascribing to British values. Do you think it's important to have a sense of Canadian identity, Canadian values that we need to...
Yes, I think it's the role of a leader as well. And it goes in different ways. Sometimes you speak to your majority to explain who is the minority, but sometimes you need to explain to some of your minorities that we are in a secular world where the religious realities have not the same scope than elsewhere. I am the minister who helped Quebec and Newfoundland to amend the Constitution to allow for secular school boards. So I know what that means. We are in a country where the government itself has no religion. We have values, and one of our values is to protect the right of each citizen to have religious freedom. It's very important. So, for instance, when we have decided to follow the lead of the court and to have civil marriage for same-sex couple, it has been very clear that we will not put any religion, any church in the obligation to celebrate these marriages. So we need always to have the two aspects to be respected. So the majority must be engaged, minorities must be engaged. I will give you two examples, very concrete ones. After September 11, Mr. Chrétien went right away to a mosque, and he delivered a speech, and he said, this is a fight not between civilization, but between the civilization and terrorism, and we will do it all together. I think it was a very important message for the minority that they have felt a bit targeted, but for the majority as well, to understand that Muslim Canadians are Canadians and friends and so on. Another example, when you had this cartoon affair, the cartoon about the cross. I went in the big mosque in Montreal, and I told them, I understand why you are outraged. It must be awful to see all these killings and destruction of some people using your prophet to do that. Then they were surprised. They thought I would say it's awful to have cartoons. No, I said it's awful to have these protests and violent protests for cartoons. So I think sometimes you need to
speak truth to power.
Yes, I think a leader must do both, and not only the leader, but our policy. Multiculturalism is very important. It must be a policy that helps people to adapt to Canada and to enrich Canada with their own culture, but it should not be an addition of closed ghettos when we don't have the possibility to get out of it.
Quick personal question. Do you attend a specific church?
I'm a Catholic.
What church do you attend mostly? Is it the Ottawa Church, or are you in Montreal?
Well, this is more personal life.
Fair enough.
Just on that, within your own party, when you ran, wasn't there that incident on the floor of the convention, the slurs against Bob Ray? Right? Do you remember that, or Bob Ray's wife?
I have read about it after.
Yeah,
I didn't see it when I was there.
To him about
yes, certainly. And I sent a press release to say that this is not acceptable in our party.
Is it there in your party, though? Does it exist within your party?
Well, it exists in every party. I think less in our party than others. But you should never take for granted that the fight we had for what we called for first tolerance and after openness and acceptance and solidarity is certain. I would say Canada is probably in the podium of the most tolerant countries in the world, but we have a lot of bigotry and racism and mistrust anyway. And this should never be taken for granted. It's the fabric of our country.
You know, because there was concern when members of your party appeared in the rally, the march in Montreal. Flags of Hezbollah were also prominent.
Yeah, but many of them would not have been there if they had known in advance that it was the case.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, I think so. They were surprised.
Why didn't they leave?
Or maybe some left, I don't know.
Randy?
Some decided to stay and to their speech saying, I disagree with that, they have been booed. So it's always a danger to know which behavior you need to have in these circumstances. And it's important for a leader to never take for granted. We should never forget that still in the 60s, immigration laws in Canada were officially racial. I would not say racist, but racial. Taking race as a criterion to accept people. 60s. So it's tolerance and openness has been something we have learned, not something we have in our genes.